Hello, my name is Grigory Lutsenko and I am the head of AML Department at Coredo. Today we will discuss with you what compliance is and the problematics of this concept. In my experience, I have seen that for many people from the financial sphere, the word compliance is a synonym of AML or is associated with it. That is, when we hear compliance, we often literally understand AML processes exactly. This is where further incorrect use of the term is various aspects, such as processes and job titles. Compliance means compliance with requirements. This term is used not only in the AML sphere, but in general in all spheres with any requirements. Let's give some examples where the term compliance is used. Corporate governance, compliance with company internal regulations. Healthcare, compliance with standards regarding the protection of patient data, as well as compliance with safety regulations. Ecological law, compliance with environmental regulations and standards to protect the ecology. Compliance with compliance with data protection requirements. Data protection, compliance with data protection requirements. Production, compliance with ACO standards. Labor relation, compliance with labor regulation and standards such as protection of workers' rights and compliance with working conditions. Finally, financial sector, compliance with regulation and rules related to financial activities. Specifically, in the financial sector, compliance does not apply only to AML regulation. A simple example would be introduction of MiCA regulation, which does not make significant changes to AML regulation for crypto companies, but introduces new requirements for crypto companies aimed at crypto assets classification and digital security that will need to be in compliance. The compliance process should address all regulation process in the company. Therefore, it can be divided by specific regulation. Let's take a European financial institution as an example and see which main areas it needs to comply with. Payment Services Directive, Anti-Money Laundering Directive, General Data Protection Regulation, Sanctions Regulation, Whistleblowing Directive. Local laws. Depending on your jurisdiction, the structure of your company may be different. For example, in the Czech Republic, the law requires a compliance officer for AML, GDPR, whistleblowing and other areas, and there is different requirements for these positions. In England, the company requires a compliance officer who will be responsible for creating policy, audits and combating financial crime, which includes compliance with AML law. AML is only part of compliance officer overall responsibilities. However, if the law does not require company to designate a compliance officer, then the responsibility will fall on the board of directors. Then they can choose a director who will have compliance officer duties. So, a company may have one compliance officer responsible for compliance with all requirements, or there may be several compliance officer positions responsible for compliance with relevant regulation. However, these positions have one thing in common. They must build the company's processes to comply with the law and ensure they are followed. In my experience, I have very often encountered issue of often term compliance. For many people, compliance equals AML. That's why the compliance process affects only one regulation, usually AML. As a result, compliance with the requirements of the rest of the laws is deficient. It is common to see a person in the position of compliance who performs customer due diligence. Earlier, the number of requirements for financial companies was not as large as today, and quite often the person performed all the function. The compliance officer's position involved creating processes in the company to comply with regulation, but not executing the processes themselves. Therefore, when a person in the compliance position performs customer due diligence, this may signal a lack of understanding of the legal requirements of the company's management. Today, the abundance of these processes make it impossible for one person to execute them all successfully. However, if the size and complexity of your company suggests that one person can design and execute the processes, then one person can do it. As for titles, For example, compliance manager. A company can call the position whatever it wants unless otherwise required by law. However, keeping in mind that it's better for the job title to reflect the activities that the position performs. If you still have questions or want to learn more, feel free to leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for being with us.